Hey everybody, it's Chris Jesty. It's been a little bit since I put out a video, and I apologize, but I've been busy getting ready for LVO, and then attending LVO, and then recovering from LVO. So this is going to be my first piece of content after I've recovered from LVO, and we're going to be talking about Falcon Heat, at least a little bit. To be fair, we already talked about it on the Coolant Pod, so I'm not going to dive deep into the package like they did when they spoke with Sam, who's part of Command. He's the one who's going to be running this tournament. We're mainly going to focus on the juicy bits, which is list building requirements right here. And we're going to talk about some lists that I've thrown together. I'm not going to build one live, at least I don't think I am right now. I'm just going to talk about a couple of lists that I've put together over the last week or so and how I think they'll fare, what I expect to see in the field to an extent, and what I'm pretty sure I know is going to be showing up. So Falcon Heat is going to be 6 rounds. There's going to be 2 different divisions. We scroll back up around here. So there's going to be 2 pods, basically, where we play 3 games against 3 different people, and then we get matched up and get into a different pod and play 3 more games against 3 more people over 4 weeks. So it's going to be a lot of BattleTech in a shorter amount of time than we're used to for one of these tournaments, but I like it. More games, more better, if you ask me. One thing to note is that there will be 2 different divisions. There's going to be the Invitational, or I guess you want to call it the Invitational, and then the Open, where in order for newer players to have kind of a non-seal clubbing environment where they can just play and have fun, or anybody who doesn't really want to put on their try-hard pants and deal with things like artillery or pulse lasers with targeting computers and stuff like that, you can play and have fun in the open portion. And those of us who want to bash each other's skulls in as brutally as possible will be playing in the hardcore or invitational portion of the tournament. So hopefully anybody with any sort of anxiety, like, oh, I hope I play well, or I don't know if I'm good enough, or I'm not very good, I don't use Mega Mech, by all means, join the open tournament and just have fun blowing up each other's mechs. Doesn't matter if you win or lose, as long as you're playing BattleTech. That's what matters. But I'm going to be talking about mainly lists for the tryhards here, because I will be trying to play at least semi-competitive. I have a feeling of what list I'm going to use. I'm going to give you some examples of lists that I've built, and more than likely I'm going to end up using one of these lists that I'm showing you now, because they're due in 5 days. On the 5th, right now I'm recording this, it's the 31st of January, so there's not a lot of time left to get lists in. So if you haven't done that yet, get on it. But we'll get into the requirements. So actually, before we get into the list requirements, we're going to get into the possible missions, because that's going to determine what we build around, or what we expect to see. So there's going to be 3 missions that we play, and then 3 subsequent missions after all the initial group matches are played will be selected randomly from the following list. And they're going to be in this order according to Sam, as he mentioned on the Coolant Pod episode. So he's going to roll a d6, and these first 3, 4, 5, 6 are going to be the ones that we pick up first. So it's Probe is going to be if he rolls a 1, King of the Hill if he rolls a 2, and so on and so forth. So Probe is a mission where you want speed. You have to get to your opponent's map edge, keep the mech there and alive for a whole turn, and then retreat off your end of the map. And if you have a probe, you'll get a bonus, which is great, because I'm expecting to bring at least 1 unit with a probe. Next is King of the Hill modified. Usually this is pretty self-explanatory. Get to the middle and stay in the middle longer than your opponent, or push them off the middle and all that. And then next up is Domination. That's always good fun. Basically 3 objectives that you fight for control over. by being adjacent to them or within 2 hexes. Depends on how he's running it. I don't have the details for each of these missions here, and I'm not going to delve deep into them right now. But we are going to talk about the basics of them, like capture the flag. Generally get to the middle and then run the objective back to your edge of the map. Or you may be doing one where the flag is on the opponent's map edge, and then you pick it up and then run back. Download the data. Active probe units will receive a bonus to complete the download. Alright, not sure how that one's different. Oh, that's going to be kind of like the one Vapor usually uses, that we usually call Death Race Relay, I'm pretty sure. And then here's the kicker. This is the one that's going to throw a monkey wrench in our building. VIP convoys. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is one of the initial 6 and has a decent chance of showing up over the 6 rounds that we play. This one, you need to escort a VIP, which means you have to load them into a unit. So it's either going to be a vehicle of some sort, or if you can find a mech with, an extra slot to shove a person in somehow, let me know. I know there's a few mechs with like 1 ton of cargo, but you're going to need 1 ton of infantry transport space in order to get this guy to be able to board the vehicle or whatever you board him into. And you need to get him off the edge of the opponent's map, I'm pretty sure. I could be mistaken, but that's what I think it is. And then these last 3 down here, crush the head. That's basically kill the commander and don't get your commander killed. Breakthrough, which is, if I'm not mistaken, get all of your units off the enemy's board and prevent them from getting units off of your end of the board. And then stand up fight. So these 3 will be the least likely to show up. These other first 6 will have a higher chance of showing up. So, I really hope we don't get stand up fight, but it's a possibility. It's kind of boring, and I don't really generally build around it, but so be it. Some things to note: VTOLs will not be counted for contesting the objective at King of the Hill or domination missions. Good to know. Infantry and battle armor must be dismounted in order to count towards objectives in King of the Hill and domination, which are 2 of the ones in the first 6, so there's a decent chance they'll show up. Crippled units may not score objective points in stand-up fight and crush the head. Crippled units are not required to any specific movement. However, a crippled unit is the only unit that may eject without penalization. So this is kind of the way Vapor does it in NFL. You don't have to retreat off your board edge, but you can if you want to deny your opponent points. And then choosing to eject from any unit that is not crippled in order to end the mission early and prevent your opponent from gaining more points will result in forfeiting the mission, which I do believe means your opponent wins and gets all the points. So don't do that. There's no reason to eject as long as you're still in the fight, at least a little bit. And if you're not, then you're probably crippled anyway. So let's get into some of the list building restrictions, because the big one, we'll do the basic ones. Here we go. We'll just go from the top down. Make it easy. Era is going to be Ill Clan, 10k battle value, and introductory, standard, and advanced. So this means that experimental units on the master unit list will not be allowed. And how do you know if a unit is experimental? Well, let's just pull up the master unit list and find a unit that we already kind of know is experimental. And we're going to check the Scorpion Empire, because I know there's a couple of them in there that are experimental, because I was hoping to be able to use them, but they're not fair game. And it's this one. Nope, not that one. Let's go down a little bit more. Where are my 50 tonners at? No, that's not what I was looking for. That's the underwater movement one, which we're not going to use regardless. Oh, that might have been really good in the Tukey River crossing. Here we go. The Rhino, experimental. It's got something called a ram plate, which reduces the amount of damage it receives from a charge by 50%. It is not fair game because it's got experimental tech. So there's the Naja right here, also experimental, not fair game. So You cannot bring these to this event, period. No ifs, ands, or buts. So let's get this out of the way. We got that done. Number of units, 2 to 6. Standard MRC procedure. Piloting skills within 1. So no 3-5s, no 5-3s. Oh, hey, it even says it right there. No 3-5s, no 5-3s. What do you know? But we can have 4-3s and 3-4s and so on and so forth. And we cannot have no worse than 4 gunnery or 5 piloting, which means we cannot have a 5, which is something to note in case you want to bring a melee mech and keep it as unskilled as possible. You have to always pay for that 4 gunnery, even if you don't plan on using it too much. And here's the kicker, well, the first kicker that we're going to have to build around. Commander. Player must select 1 unit to be the commander. Unit must be a mech with the command mech quirk and or a command console. Only 1 such mech may be selected. So if you have any of, you can only have 1 of these that qualify for this, period. You can't have 2. And we're going to click on this MUL file in a bit, but first we're going to check out this caveat for the clan players and explain it a little bit. It says clan players may opt to select a non-command mech, in which case they cannot bring any mech classified above as a command mech. Separately, their commander must be the best pilot. No unit may have a better combined piloting or gunnery, or end gunnery, and their mech must be the highest battle value of any unit in the list. So, clan players have an out. They don't have to run a command mech, but whatever mech you pick for your commander has to be the best and the most expensive. So you can forego, we're going to click on this list now, you can forego using this list. So let's take a look at, let's see, Federated Suns, because that's a list I built and I know they've got a decent amount. No, Clans Fox, Select Dominion, Household Fed Sons, there we go, Fed Sons, Ill Clan. And how do we figure out where the command mech is? This column right here. This is going to tell us if it's a command mech or not. NA means it's not a command mech. So we'll scroll down until we see something that's not an NA. Here we go. Mongoose 76. That's a command mech. Keep going. Ah, here we go. Phoenix Hawk 3PL and 6D. That's a command mech. Keep going. Enforcer 3. Right there. Command mech. Alright, scooch. We're going to go to the command mech, or one of them that I chose. As you can see, there's not too many command mechs until you start getting into the bigger mechs. Archers right here. We skipped some earlier. I'm not going to go back and point them out. You can sift through this yourself later. Black Knight right there. BL12 KNT. Command mech. Keep going. Ah, here we go. The lovely Marauder. I picked a Marauder as a command mech for one of the lists I am going to be showing you here, because it was pretty cheap on BV for what I got out of it, and I needed a commander. And there's one down here, Delore, we've got Battle Masters. So as you can see, there's a handful of mechs to pick from, which means there will, 9 star, that's not a bad mech for a command mech, which means there will be a limited amount of mechs to pick from that you will see showing up, because we don't have a choice. We have to have a commander if you're going to be an Innersphere player. I'll show you a clan list that does not follow that, and it uses a non-command mech that is the most expensive and highest skilled. We'll get into that in a bit. And here we go, the other monkey wrench in our list building, escort carrying capacity. This is what I was talking about, the vehicle earlier, where you have to be able to carry a 1-ton foot squad. So that means anything with 1 ton worth of infantry transport is fair game and will satisfy that requirement. So here's the rest of the restrictions. Map sheets variable will be determined by mission assignment. One thing I didn't mention earlier, these missions down here, some of them, I think almost all of them actually, have a specific map that will be associated with it. Like, there is a King of the Hill map, there is a Domination map, there is a Capture the Flag map, and so on and so forth that you will be using that have been handmade for these objectives. I think we're going to be doing the 3-map thing again, where you pick a map, then your opponent picks a map, and then the specific map is in the middle. Some of the maps are just straight up, this is the map you're playing on, period. And you don't get to pick your own map. And that's going to be important with some of the decisions we make. And then here we go. Battle mechs, omni-mechs, proto-mechs, battle armor infantry, and vehicles/VTOLs. And VTOLs have a hard cap not to exceed 10 elevation at any point. There is a reason for this. There are some wall... Vehicles have no ceiling. They can go up as high as they want, I think to like 99 elevation or something. So in order to prevent them from just going up super high and ignoring all of the terrain all of the time, they're going to be capped at 10, and there will be level 13 walls or buildings or whatever, what have you, in some of these maps to prevent you from just flying over the terrain and getting to the middle or shooting at your opponent turn 1. So expect to see more engagements at shorter ranges, because there's going to be, on certain objectives anyway, because there's going to be very high walls blocking you and forcing you to go around them. And then here we go. A player may bring 2 of a unit chassis, but they must be separate variants. The whole 2 of a kind, or whatever it's called. There's a common phrase for it. Twins but different. So you can bring 2 thugs, they just have to be different variants, even if they're only barely different, like the E and the EB right here. And then all units in a player's force must also be from the chosen faction of MUL. That's standard practice. No unique Solaris or Extinct, which means I don't get my Sun Bear because there's no unique units, which is also standard practice. For MRC, no list may utilize the General Merc MUL. Cowhounds and Dragoons are fair game, and that's because the Merc MUL and Ill Clan is massive. You basically have almost everything you could ever want on the Merc MUL, because it encompasses pretty much everything in the Inner Sphere. And here we go. Now we get to more nitpicky stuff. No list may have more than 1 artillery unit, so artillery is fair game. I really hope we don't see artillery in the open portion of the tournament. Please don't be that guy. Don't ruin the newbie's day. If you are going to bring artillery, I suggest you play in the invitation and request to join the invitation if you want to play that way. So Arrow 4s, Long Toms, Thumpers, Snipers, they're all fair game, even the cannon versions, not just the artillery versions. So I expect to see at least some Arrow 4, maybe a couple Long Toms for the lols. But we'll get into that in a bit. And then more than 28 points of pulse damage, period, across your whole list. So you can have something like an Ice Ferret D, which has 4 clan medium pulse lasers for 7 damage each, which adds up to 28 points, and that's all the pulse you get in your list, period. End of discussion. No more than 12 jump movement points across your entire list. This does include battle armor. And then no more than 1 ton of homing Arrow 4, which is nice. I would prefer if there were no homing Arrow 4 or artillery personally, but so be it. At least there's a limit on the number of 20 damage shots that could be thrown at you from across the map, accurately anyway. And then we have infantry and battle armor taggers are not allowed with any Arrow 4 list or list using semi-guided LRMs. Ugh, semi-guided LRMs are fair game too. That's disgusting. And then commander occupying a command console may be selected, but you have to make the crew member absent box checked, so that way you don't get the benefit of the command console. Basically, command consoles are not going to be active even if you take a mech with them, so be on the lookout for that. If you are used to bringing a command console to give yourself a bonus to initiative, that will not be something you can do. So that's it for the build restrictions, and let's go ahead and get into a build like this one. So this is a FedSun's C3 list. Yes, I know FedSun's C3 is not something you usually see, but I'm weird like that. So we'll go ahead and get into it and talk about why I picked what I picked. So the stealth is, well, let's get into the requirements. First of all, we need to have a commander. Marauder 5R covers the commander. We just went through the list earlier. None of these mechs count as commanders, and none of these vehicles or infantry, I don't think, matter. I think it's only mechs, so you have to have at least one mech in your list. So here's our Marauder. That's our commander. He's also the most skilled and highest battle value, in case you were wondering. So he would qualify if this were a clan list, but it's not. He's got 2 ER PPCs, 2 medium lasers, and a rack 5, and a C3 slave with an ECM. So we can do the Trace Buster. And then next up, I have a Cavalry Attack Helicopter Infiltrator variant. This is just going to be my 1 ton. It's got 4 tons of troop capacity, but I only need 1 ton of it to carry the VIP for that particular mission. And I've also got right here the Cavalier 2 battle armor PPC squad that I can throw in here on every other mission but the VIP mission. If we get the VIP mission, the Cavalier are hoofing it, or jumping along with the Marauder, I should say, and bodyguarding for them on that particular mission, because there's not enough space to carry both them at 4 tons and the 1 ton I need for the VIP. So that covers our requirements. We'll get into the rest of the list. It is a C3 list, and then all 4 slots are used. And we'll get into the C3 Master next, which is the Fennec FEC-5CM. I like this mech. I like the Fennec as a concept. It's a little 55-ton sniper. It's decently quick at 5.8, which is average speed for a 55-tonner. This particular variant is, it's experimental. Crap, I don't even know if I can bring this. Let us double check the MUL. I may have to revise this live. This is Scorpion Empire. Where is Federated Suns? Here we go. Show me the Fennec and whether or not it's experimental. Where's 55 tonners? No, 50. 55. There it is. Advanced. Suck it, Mega Mech. It's advanced per MUL. Made me double guess myself. So we're fair game. It's got a 275 XXL, which means it generates 5 heat, I think, per turn that I run in, or just for existing. I've got 27 double heat sinks total. I don't remember how to get an odd number out of heat sinks, but whatever. We'll figure that out in a bit. It's got 2 large re-engineered lasers, 1 in each arm, and 2 ER clan medium lasers. And it's got a boosted C3 Master. The boost I don't think matters. I don't think I have anything with the boosted slave. But more importantly, it's got a radical heatsink system, which it's kind of like Mask in that the more you use it, the more chance it has to fail. And if it fails, I'm not sure what happens. I think it blows up and you end up losing it and generating a bunch of heat. It's not a good time, so don't let it blow up. But it does let you fire almost all your weapons on a regular basis. Between your 27 heat sinks, the extra 5 heat you're getting from the XXL engine, the radical heatsink is a cool system, and I really like it. You just have to remember to turn it on and activate it in the status symbol or status screen or whatever, where you go into components individually. And it's also got a light active probe for, probing things if necessary. So that's our C3 Master. It's not our commander. It's the second most expensive, coming in at 3.4 and 2,500 battle value. These mechs are not cheap once you add them all into a C3 system, let me tell you. And then next up, we've got a Centurion 11-OC. It's got 5 jump jets, you'll notice. The Marauder had no jump jets. The Fennec had no jump jets. The Stealth has 7 jump jets. Crap, I think I need to ditch the battle armor. Yep, that's 5 plus 7 equals 12. And my poor little Cavaliers, I think, have 4 movement, which means they are not fair game, and I'm going to have to chump dump them if I want to bring both the Centurion and the Stealth. So we'll go ahead and delete them straight up and pick another set of battle armor that doesn't jump later. hopefully, if there's one that exists. If not, then we'll bump skills, and so be it. The stealth is going to be our objective runner. He's 7, 11, 14, 7. So he's got mask and jump jets. He's a little pricey for what he does because he pays that mobility tax for having both jump jets and mask. But he's decently armored for 50 tonner. He's 50 ton, 45 tons. Whoops, not quite as heavy as I thought he was. He's got 2 ER mediums and a streak 6, all in the torso. So his arms are free for fisticuffs and or pushing. He's got mask, as I mentioned before, an active probe, and a C3 slave. This is going to be our objective runner and our C3 data giver. He's a 4-5. He's not too tanky, but he can take a couple shots for a medium mech, and he's quick. That jump 7 is going to save his life, and the mask is going to let him cover a lot of ground in a hurry. So he'll be able to get to objectives faster than most other jump 7 or 8 mechs because he gets those extra running speed hexes, which will be nice against the Vipers, I'm sure we'll see. So that's pretty much the list, excluding the battle armor. So we're going to take a quick peek at the battle armor that Fed Sons get in Ill Clan and see if there's any assault class battle armor that do not jump. Here we go, infantry. Or I guess regular infantry I can squeeze in there at 4 tons. Yeah, because I don't know if there's going to be assault battle armor I can shove in there that don't jump. Oh, sloths do not jump. Maybe we'll throw some of them in. Grenadiers I don't think jump either. Ooh, remember they can't they're not Omni, if I'm not mistaken, because I tried messing around with them before and they didn't fit. And I couldn't get them to load up on an Omni mech. So don't need the C3, SRM, mag shot, SRM arc, small variable speed pulse laser, mag shot, flamer, heavy flamer. Flamers are nice. Let's add some of these in here. Add combat, grenadier, battle armor, flamer. 2-2, which means I guess they jump. Okay, not them. We're 2-2 as well. So, not the Grenadiers. What else have we got? But may not jump. Sloths, I know don't jump. Let's check out the sloths. Here, slothy boys. Here we go. We get the Huntsman, which has 2 King David Gauss rifles, or the Standard, which has 2 small lasers and a pop-up mine. I think I'll go with the Standard and add these bad boys in there. They're dirt cheap too, so we'll have slightly more battle value. Do we have enough to get the cavalry down to a 2 piloting? Yes, we do. Perfect. Excellent. That's what I wanted to see. Get these guys down to a 3, 4, and they should fit. Maybe we can get them down to a 3, 3. Yep. And there we go, 2, 3. Nope, that'll push them over. Alright, so 3, 3, they will stay. So here we are. They're 4 tons, so they will fit in the cavalry attack helicopter. I'm 90% sure they don't jump at 441. What the hell? Mechanical jump booster? God darn it. Alright, thought the sloths didn't jump. What the heck? 3, 3. Okay, maybe these are the ones I'm thinking of. These don't jump, do they? I'll have to test it. Alright, we'll throw these in there. Get rid of the Huntsmans. We're at 9412. We throw these guys down to 3, 3. $99.92. Perfect. Even better. I don't think they jump. If they do, then we'll delete it and shift some BV around somewhere to try and squeeze out another pilot or something. Or just bring a regular infantry squad that'll fit in the cavalry attack helicopter. Either way, the battle value there is filler. They're not a core component of this list. So I think this is a decently balanced list. It's not quick. The only fast unit I have is the stealth, and I guess I have the cavalry too, but I'm expecting there to be black. It's also got vehicular stealth, which is nice. It's going to be just that little bit harder to hit. The Marauder isn't too fast at 4.6. The Fennec is okay at 5.8. It's also a 55 tonner with light armor. And then the Centurion is 5.85. So the Stealth is going to be out front for some of those longer distance maps running the objective. The Centurion and the Fennec can try to help run the objective. I'd rather not risk the Fennec because it's, the C3 Master. And the Marauder I'd rather not risk as well because it's the actual Force Commander, unless it's not important to the mission. Like a cut off the head, I'm definitely not throwing the Marauder out there. But we do have the C3 that we can mooch off of with the Stealth. Throw the Centurion out there. He's decently armored at 152. So I've got a decent bit of target acquisition data giving with the C3 slaves, and the Fennec and the Marauder have pretty decent range, so they can take advantage of it for the most part. It's a decent list. I don't think I'm going to be running this one, but it's not a bad list. I have ECM to help do the Trace Buster against other ECM, so I can keep my network going. The Stealth, I don't think has it. I think he's just got a probe, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, but the probe in itself will be handy in some of the missions as well. So that's a Fed Sun's C3 list. Let's get into a different list. Scorpion Empire. So I'm going to take a little bit different philosophy in this one. I am going to be bringing battle armor. I should have... Wait a minute. 8 plus 5. Crap. Hang on. 5 plus 8. Yep, I'm 1 over on the jump. Darn it. So I'm going to have to replace this Blackhawk with something else. But I'm sure I'll find something. Won't be that hard. This is a nice Blackhawk, though. Or replace the Viper with something else. I could probably ditch it for an Arctic Cheetah or something. So here we go. Here's my Snow Fox. This is going to be my battle armor delivery system. It's the Snow Fox A. I like this little quad mech. It's fully armored for a poor little 20-ton quad mech at 73 armor total. Most importantly, it can survive artillery shell that's not a huge one landing near it. If one lands in its hex or is targeted at the hex it's in, it'll only take 5 damage for the most part, depending on the artillery shell. Long Tom is a whole other story, but it'll survive at least 1 artillery hit. And they're elementals, so it'll take 2 full artillery hits to take them out. The 2 sets of 5 damage won't destroy them. It'll put them at 1 health each trooper, which is not good, but they'll still be on the board, and I don't think they'll be in forced withdrawal. They'll be very darn close to it, though. So that's a nice little combo, especially considering that the Snow Fox A has flamers, and I have elemental flamer battle armor right here. And then next up, I would like to talk about the Black Hawk T, because this is an extremely efficient mech with all these medium chemical lasers. But I think we're going to have to ditch it and straight up just either delete this or delete the Viper and find a replacement for the Viper that's also quick. Because as it stands now, I don't have anything else to really keep pace with the Snow Fox. It's a quick little bugger. That's a cover APC, not a Snow Fox. It's a quick bugger at 812 and 16 with mask up. So he's like a dasher that's not as paper and is a quad mech. So I can take advantage of dropping down and hiding behind level 1 cover if there is any available. Which, depending on the map, there may or may not be. But it's also, I can go hold down to get that extra +1 for being prone, and as a quad mech, you don't take the penalty for shooting while you're prone. So I can fire those LRM-5s off pretty much every turn until I run out of ammo. So we'll replace, I think, the Blackhawk with something, because the Viper is nice. So if there's a mission where I can utilize the Viper and jump and get the elementals into position quicker that way, instead of using the Snow Fox, I will do that. the commander is also a non-command mech. It's going to be this Kingfisher X. So this is one of the requirements, 278 out of 279 armor, and he's a 90-ton assault mech. I've got 34 heat sinks. He's 4.6. He's not the quickest, but he's a beefy boy. He's got 2 ER medium pulse lasers right there. So there's 14 of our 28 allotted pulse damage. 3 improved heavy mediums, LRM-15, ERP-PC, and a cheeky little targeting computer. And he's got Artemis 5 for that LRM-15. So it gets basically the targeting computer bonus for the Artemis 5, which is nice. And we got an ECM, which isn't an active probe, but it's nice to have. So, speaking of which, of having things that are nice to have, I don't think I have an active probe in this list as it stands now. So I have an idea of what I'm going to end up doing. I don't know if this is a great idea, and I may not go through with this, but I know the Snow Fox Prime, let's get this bad boy in here, is similar battle value. So there we go, he's 1932. And he's got an active probe, an ECM, and a target computer, and he's got 3 ER medium lasers. He's also maxed out on armor, just like the other Snow Fox. And yeah, the probe will be nice for the probe mission, and also the relay mission, and anything that needs the probe. So that's a nice touch. And this way, I get to keep my 5 jump, extremely efficient Blackhawk with 160 armor, which is not too shabby. I gotta keep my 3 jump elementals, so that's 8 of my allotted 12 jump. I still have 5 left over technically. Maybe I'll replace the Snow Fox with something. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. As it stands now, I'm gonna leave this list as is. It's a little light, but I do have a very efficient assault mech right here as my commander and as the most expensive and most skilled. Speaking of most skilled, I cannot have this Snow Fox at 3.3. I have to have it at 3.4, so it's at least tied with the commander. I cannot have this Hover APC at 3.2. It has to be 3.4 and remain tied with the commander as well. Which means I've got more battle value to mess with and ditch this Snow Fox for something else. So I'll keep the Prime, because that's I'll keep either the A or the Prime. More than likely I'll ditch the Prime and get something else that jumps for less than 5 or runs pretty quick. Is decent. I'll probably throw a Ryukin in there of some sort, because as of right now I'm only using 2 of my 4 allotted pulse damage. I'd like to 2 of my 4 allotted medium pulse lasers, and I'd like to use all 4 to be as efficient as possible. And since these are matched up with the targeting computer, they're even more efficient, which is just nasty. And here is the Heavy Hover APC. It's the cheapest infantry transport I could throw on the list with good conscience. I don't need it for the elementals. The elementals way more than the troop capacity for this thing. It's an 812 hover, which is decently quick. Unfortunately, the Scorpion Empire doesn't get any of those fast little VTOLs that can carry infantry, so that won't be happening with this list. I'll have to rely on the Hover APC. And this is one of the cheaper versions with the SRM. At least it has an SRM instead of a machine gun, so it can at least shoot back before it's destroyed. So it's not great, it's not terrible, but I will likely be finding something to replace this Snow Fox. Speaking of which, maybe we'll take a peek right now and see if anything jumps out at us. Battle mech. We want something that's around 2,000 battle value, because that's where that... Nope, we can't have anything with more than 4 jump. Where are we at? Wait, this doesn't look right. Why is there a stealth on this? Because it's Red Suns, not Scorpion Empire. Here we go. Scorpion Empire. Come on, baby. There we go. I need a mech with less than 5 jump. It's around 2,000 battle value. and is going to pack a decent bit of punch, be decently quick. I think I need something like a Ryukin or an Ice Ferret. Don't think there's anything that's only got 2 pulse lasers in the Ryukin, or I can bring another Black Hawk that's around 2,000 battle value. Let's take a look at some of these Novas. There we go. A, this is a little pricey. Yeah, 1 medium pulse laser, not too bad. Here's the B, large pulse, which would take up most of my remaining pulse. It'll put me at 24 out of 28. UAC 5, machine gun, you're small. Not great. Don't think I want to go for 1. Boss rifle, not terrible. Don't think I need a Nova that can be a sniper. LBX 5. One thing to note, I don't have any flak on this list currently, so maybe something with flak is the way to go. Here we go. ER mediums, ATM 12. That's pretty decently efficient. Maybe I'll do something like that. Nova E. Oh wait, 3 ER mediums and a HAG 20 with enough rounds to fire it every turn. That'll count as my flak with a 585 jump. Only problem is I can't take this and the elementals. Darn it. That's why I couldn't take a second Nova. No. Big ol' oops. So no Nova, we need something that doesn't jump for 5. Maybe a Ryukin. What do we have here? A, it's a little too pricey. Ryukin C. LBX 10. Ooh, that's an efficient little mech. That's too many pulse lasers, unfortunately. Ryukin D. Bunch of Lerms and an Arc. Thank you. Your mediums, 2 ATM 9s, 2 smalls. Ooh, and an active probe. That's not bad. What do we have on H? 6.9, heavy, large. Ooh. Don't like taking regular heavy lasers without a target computer to offset that +1. That's a no-go for me. HAG 20, a bunch of ER mediums, only 12 shots with the HAG 20 though. 6.9, that's doable. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ER mediums and enough sinks to shoot them all. So we might try to squeeze this bad boy in there. We should have the battle value for it. Not the H, the Prime. Just a bunch of ER lasers. Prefer it if there was something with 2 medium pulse lasers, which would be perfect. Take up all of our pulse laser capacity. Here we go. Improved heavy mediums with the Gauss rifle. Okay, 2001 battle value. That's not bad. That's pretty battle value efficient. ER large, medium pulse, ER large, medium pulse, streak 6. 1 extra medium pulse. If not, that would have been perfect. T, large pulse, nope, too much pulse. TC, Gauss rifle, and 4 ER mediums with the T-comp. That's not bad. It's a bit pricey for what we have space for right now. So we'll probably not go with that one. What was the one that we liked earlier? This one's not terrible. Might consider that one. What was it? Not the Prime, not the H, was it the G? The HAG 20 and the 5 ER mediums, I think it was. Yeah, we'll throw this in there. We will not be throwing it in at 3-4. Maybe 4-4. 4-4 fit? Nope, not by a little bit. I could bump the skill on the elementals just to keep the Ryukin at 4-4. Yeah, I think the elementals are gonna be too important. So back down to a 4-5 we'll go, unfortunately. But now we have 200 extra BV and we can't dump skills, so I guess 4-4 it is, and we'll leave the elementals at 4-4 as well. Now there we go, 99-95. That's a little bit more balanced, and we meet all the requirements. We only have a jump of 8 total. We only have 2 medium pulse lasers, so we're well under the pulse threshold, if I'm not mistaken. Which I may very well be. Yep, ER medium pulse. It should have no pulses, just a bunch of medium chemical lasers. Yep, there we go. This should be flamers and SR5s. Yep, there we go. They should also be flamers and SR2. Yep, there we go. And this should just be machine gun and SR4. Yep, perfect. So we meet the pulse requirements. The Kingfisher counts as our commander. The heavy hover APC counts as our troop transport. And we've got a bunch of mediums and a light to get on the objectives and brawl over the objectives with our decently armored medium mechs, 182 out of 185, and this is 160 out of 169. So they're definitely not pushovers. I'm going to be a little slow overall with the list. The Kingfisher is not going anywhere in a hurry, and I don't have anything but an ERPPC and an LRM-15 to poke with from far away, but at least it's got the T-comp, so that will offset some of that. And he's already coming in at 3-4, so essentially he's a 2-4 with all of his weapons, because he does have Artemis, the Artemis 5 and the T-comp. So I kind of like this list a little bit better now, actually. The Ryukin's nice, chunky, and I don't have to rely too much on speed to stay alive. I can still do dropping prone shenanigans with the Snow Fox, poke from afar with those LRMs, and also bum rush the elementals onto something juicy, like an enemy's assault mech or an enemy vehicle, something like that. The Snow Fox might not survive it, but hopefully the elementals will. And this is a list I may consider running. I like it. I want to try Kingfisher, I want to try the Blackhawk, I want to try the Ryukin. They're not using any shenanigans. I'm just going to try and play the objective better than the opponent. No artillery, no C3, no sim-guided, no nonsense. So let's go ahead and save this unit list over my old Scorpion Empire list, because that one was not valid. Let's delete all these, and nope, not add combat unit. Load unit list. Let's take a look at this Sea Fox list I made. This one I made previously against Pirate. It does have a 3-4 Kit Fox V. It's one of the only Omni mechs that has artillery. There's also a Mad Dog that has it, Mad Dog V, if I'm not mistaken. And I didn't really want to use an artillery vehicle. The Kit Fox is really cheap for what it is. It's 6'9", so it's decently quick. It's paper thin armor, but it's got an Arrow 4 carrier, and that's what we care about. And I've got at least 1 ton of homing in there. I'm also looking at the Onuris on this one. I tested this list out, and I will not be using this list for a reason I will get to in a minute. But that being said, the commander was obviously going to be the Nightgyre here at 3-4, 3,671 battle value. By far the most expensive mech on this list. Also running around with a 3-4 Hammerhead, which is a solid mech. A DI multi-purpose, because there's no limit on VTOLs. This has troop capacity of 4 tons. I cannot carry the elementals, but that's what the Nightgyre or the Kit Fox is for. They're really going to be just babysitting the Kit Fox more so than anything else. Or the Nightgyre, depending on the objective and the positioning and all that. But this is a decently fast VTOL. DI multi-purpose, expect to see it on a lot of lists, because a lot of the clan lists get it. It's got the troop capacity required, and it's quick. 914 is not bad, and it's got up to 5 rotor hits before it drops like a rock, which isn't terrible. And I'll get into why I won't be using this list, specifically because Arrow 4 is going to be in the format. And Arrow 4 is naturally flak. And this Onuris has reflective armor. It's got 88 armor, which is pretty good for a VTOL. It's just that reflective takes double damage from explosive artillery shells or AoE attacks or whatever. I don't remember the exact reason it's taking double damage. It might be straight up because it's not laser damage. But it just gets annihilated by Arrow 4. One shot, it's pretty much gone. And with Arrow 4 getting the flak bonus, it's more than likely going to get knocked out of the sky 1 or 2 turns. So this list is a no-go, but it's portions of it are not very good, but other portions are solid, like Kit Fox V, The Hammerhead's always a good mech, coming in at 3-4 with a Streak 6, large pulse laser, and ER medium with 120 points of hardened armor, which is essentially 240 points of armor total because of the way it works. I love this mech. It's one of my favorites of all time, so any excuse I get to run it, I generally will. And here we go with the Nightgyre X. This one was more for the fun and the memes of it. It's got 2 Rack 5s, 2 Streak LRM 10s, and a micro pulse laser. One thing you'll notice is I have very little pulse. I've got the large pulse on the Hammerhead and the micro pulse on the Nightgyre, which is well under the threshold. So it's not really efficient there either. The stealth on the Elemental 3s is great. I wish the Scorpion Empire had access to Elemental 3s, but they don't. So I'm stuck using the regular old Elementals. These things are great. They're slightly cheaper, if I'm not mistaken, than regular Elementals. And they get stealth, and they get the discount on the advanced SRM2 one-shots. I think, unless I'm mistaken. But yeah, these are pretty good. They're solid. So not much I really want to say about this list because I'm not going to use it. So we'll just get that out of the way and take a look at another list that we'll be using. Okay, all right, we'll be getting into another list that I'm working, or this is actually a CFox list. I don't have it pre-built. I made this earlier today on my phone, and we're going to go through it one unit at a time and talk about why we're bringing each of these units. So first and foremost, this is going to be the most expensive unit. It's also going to be the most skilled unit, tied for a bunch of them. And this is going to be the commander. This is the Hellhound Conjurer 2. This is a disgusting clan mech. It's 7-11-7 movement profile, so that's 7 of our jump. It's 169 out of 169 armor, max armor for its tonnage. It's got 2 medium pulse lasers, an ATM-9, 3 tons of ATM ammo. We will not be using the extended range ammo, I guarantee you, and a targeting computer. There's no restriction from pairing up medium pulse lasers or pulse lasers in general with a targeting computer, so we're going to try and take advantage of that as best we can. This is a disgusting mech. Let me tell you, I used it to good effect at NashCon last year, and I'm going to try and use it again this time because there's nothing stopping me. Another solid clan mech, one I just mentioned earlier that made its way onto the other list we were talking about that I will not be using, is this Hammerhead. So here's another 10 pulse damage. We just went over it. Streak 6, large pulse laser, ER medium, and AES. I forgot to mention it earlier, but this cancels out some of the penalty for having hardened armor and then some. So solid mech all around, nice and heat efficient. Moving on, not much to say about that one. Next up on the list is good old Gargoyle Prime. Why are we bringing the Prime? It's cheap. We're going to bring it in at 3-4, and it covers our flak with 2 LB5s. It's fast. It'll pair up nicely with the Hammerhead at 5-8, and I can crit seek with it, and I can stand it on King on the Hill, and it's only 2,000 battle value. It's cheaper than the Hammerhead. It's cheaper than the Hellhound. It's expendable. As far as I'm concerned, if it gets blown up round 1, no big deal. That's what it's there for, to get shot. And we're going to be adding in this is going to say Rifleman, but I think it's actually supposed to be Snow Fox. If I'm not mistaken. 1464. Yep, that's going to be the Snow Fox Prime, because the Snow Fox is not in the Mech Factory app. So this is actually supposed to be at a 4-4. Sitting there. And we're also going to throw in the DI multi-purpose, which is what I mentioned earlier. You're going to be seeing a lot of it because it's available to the clans and it's got troop capacity. And there's no reason not to take a nice quick VTOL if you can. I mean, it's going to be sitting there at 3, 4, which is unfortunate. I'd like to get it to a 3-3 or even, if possible, a 3-2. But since we're going the clan route and not taking a command mech, I do not have that option. It has to be a 3-4 at best. And then we're going to throw in some battle armor because, hey, why not? And we'll be taking the elemental 3s with flamers. I think is battle mech flamers going to be on? Let's double check. If they're not fair game, then I don't need to take the flamer. I can take the AP Gauss version. Where is the list of... Here we go. Attack ops, elevation change, careful stand, one arm profile, explosions, double blind, front loading. Oh, there it is. Will not be in effect. No BMM flavors. Darn. That means we take the AP Gauss variant, which is slightly cheaper. Oh, that's 4. There we go. Clan. This should be it. Select AP Gauss. Troopers 5. Yep, there we go. So bring them down to a 3. Or nope, can't bring them down to a 3-4. They've got to be a 4-5 in order to fit. 9880. There we go. We can't really drop skills on anything else. I don't think I have the battle value to dump the gunnery on this. Nope, over by 200. Not even close. So we're going to be riding a little low at 9880. And there's not too much we can do about it. I mean, switch the anti-mech over. There we go. 9933, and that's it. We're sold here. So we've gone through each of the mechs. The Snow Fox Omni Prime, it's quick, 8, 12, 16, 3 mediums, target computer, active probe, ECM, everything we want in an objective runner. It's got mask, so I can get up to 16 hexes when I need it. DI multi-purpose, 914, solid VTOL. I don't like having the 4 piloting, but I have to make concessions being a clan player. Not bad. Elemental 3s, we already went through them. Gauss rifle, not bad. Anti-personnel version, not a regular Gauss rifle on battle armor, that would be busted. Jumps for 3, so our jump distance is a total of 10. We're good there. Our pulse damage is a total of 14 because we just have the Hellhound and the Hammerhead. The Banner War doesn't have any pulse. The Snow Fox, the DI multipurpose, and the Elemental 3s have no pulse. So we're at 24. We're close to as efficient as possible with our allotted pulse damage. And 2 of our medium pulse lasers are paired up with the target computer, which I think is fair trade for missing out on 4 total pulse damage. So this is the list I will likely end up running for Falcon Heat. I think it's pretty solid. I like the Snow Fox, I like the Hammerhead, I like the Conjurer 2. I will not be running artillery just because I don't think it's healthy for the game, at least in its current form. And I want to see how well I can do without bringing artillery. And kind of be a litmus test and see how I place against artillery bringing players, we'll say. I'm assuming that someone bringing a Long Tom or Arrow 4 with homing, with their full 1 ton of homing damage is going to be taking the crown here. But that being said, I think I've got a decent chance to at least contest some of the objectives. I've got some decently armored mechs. Funnily enough, I think the Hammerhead has more total armor than the Gargoyle. Yeah, 240 versus the 211. So technically, the Hammerhead is the most heavily armored unit on here, even though it's, almost half the tonnage of the Gargoyle here. So it's well balanced. I have my infantry transport. I've got some battle armor for filler. I can't really do much else to it. I think this is going to be it for me. This is more than likely what I'll be seeing running in Falcon Heat, and I'm going to be hoping for the best. If you guys have any suggestions or questions, or you want to pick my brain a bit more about why I picked what I picked, by all means go for it. I spent a lot of time just poking around on the MUL, looking up units, literally going down the line of every single unit on the MUL. I've done it for more than one MUL, let me tell you. And you just need to invest time into sifting through what you're looking for. So I think I'll go ahead and call it there. Another list preview video going into Falcon Heat this time. Thanks for watching, guys. See you guys later.